So one of the headlines this week was Peloton.
Hmm.
Peloton announces that it is going to be laying off 2,800 workers, which is roughly 20% of its corporate positions in a cost-cutting effort. Company known for its home workout equipment, particularly the bicycles with the big screen and all the commercials that you've seen. Be, the brand became a household name during the COVID-19 pandemic, but as restrictions continue to lift and gyms open, and people aren't spending as much time at home as they once were, they're taking these. Well, they just haven't been doing as well, so they're doing cost cutting. The co-founder and CEO John Foley will also be stepping down from his position, with Barry McCarthy, a former executive at Spotify and Netflix, taking his place. Peloton may not be the only company needing to change direction exiting the pandemic, as restructuring around the evolving climate of customer demands is an essential part of doing business going forward.
Hmm.
So basically, Peloton wasn't really a household name until, I don't know, maybe 3 years ago, maybe just before the pandemic, we were seeing those advertisements, but especially once lockdown began. Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah, they're high-end, expensive home workout equipment, bicycles. They might have another. They might do treadmills and ellipticals, but regardless, a big part of their business is the subscription model, and that
Hmm.
you can have like trainers and workouts on screen, and you participate in groups, I guess. Um, that's a They have something like nearly 3 million subscribers, which is not a small amount. I think they've had like 6 million and something customers, and they currently have something like 2 point something subscribers, 2 point something, uh, something short of 3 million active subscribers. So it's a good amount of people, but yeah, the reality is people aren't locked in their homes anymore. So it's not necessarily a great idea to spend thousands on exercise equipment if you can get a gym membership for $10 or $20 a month.
Exactly.
Uh, Not to mention that you have to pay the subscription for Peloton anyway. So yeah, it's just the idea of it's nice, and they had like the perfect, COVID-19 happened to be like the perfect scenario for a company like that with that business model, for them to just explode in popularity. But yeah, it's just like one of those things. Do you need
Almost like a
something like
fad.
that? Yeah, I mean, it was like it wasn't even a fad. It was just like it was good for the time, but now that we aren't, during we aren't in a pandemic, or we won't be shortly, however you want to look at it, it's just not like a necessity anymore. Not to mention it was kind of niche anyway when you can buy, cheaper exercise bikes, of course. Uh, So the co-founder and CEO is stepping down, and someone with a little bit more corporate experience is stepping in, it seems. So they are trying to restructure the brand and keep the company alive. They're not like dissolving it or going bankrupt or anything. Uh, so I think it'll be cool to see if they kind of rebrand themselves as something other than what they are, because they haven't really changed their image since they've been around. Um, but it's just something to point out that other companies that have exploded in popularity during the pandemic may also see something similar, and if they don't change, Peloton hasn't really changed to this post-pandemic environment that we live in. So other companies like Zoom, for web conferences and web streams, I think they're a little bit more robust in this sense, because they got so much adoption during COVID-19, both personal and corporate, like companies just adopting it for all their meetings for people working at home. So I think those kind of deals will still work out in their favor, in Zoom's favor, just because it sort of became an integral part of other businesses, while
Exactly.
Peloton not being, you know, it's kind of just like any other exercise bike at that point. at some point people just forget about it or join a gym, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, on their website right now, the cheapest bike that is reminiscent of what they advertise, just to be clear, they have cheaper ones, is $2,500. And that's not including the subscription. Their Ultimate Bike Plus package is nearly $3,100.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I'd much rather spend that on almost anything else. Especially, I'm not one of those exercise types. Surprise, surprise. I don't know. I'd probably just spend that on, like, in the human malware situation, I'd probably spend that on a home meal kit or something. Get food for, what's that, almost 6 months of food, you know?
Yeah.
Like time-saving measures. I wouldn't spend it on, that's very expensive.
It's a lot of money, and it's only one piece of equipment too. If you're actually trying to get in shape other than cardio, it's just a bike. So
what did you just say, sir? I think we need to get you on the right track. It's not just a bike, it's an experience, okay? You're paying for the community.
Really cool. It's really cool. But it's one of those things that you look at and don't actually buy, which is, I think, the problem they're facing now.
Yeah.
Because during the pandemic, someone might say, well, I'm not spending as much money. I have more of it. Okay, I'll buy something like that. It's kind of crazy, but, you know, it'll keep me on track and whatever. Now it's like, now you can spend your money elsewhere and use other things and be outside. So
exactly. Uh-oh.
what's the issue?
Don't worry about it. It's already too late. Apparently we haven't been recording this whole time.
That is okay. At least we're streaming in 4K.
Yeah, we can always download the YouTube file. Oops.
As we will.
Yeah, as we will. Yeah, so, I mean, I kind of saw this coming. It is a very niche, expensive product. It's definitely, like, it was perfect timing the way it exploded. And, you know, they had a good run, but they want to survive and stay profitable. They're going to have to figure out a new business strategy because, you know, people aren't going to be buying, you know, $1,000 plus bicycles. They'll just buy a real bicycle and go outside. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. If it weren't for the pandemic, I don't think they would have really appealed to most people, but also they would have had the chance to grow gradually and adapt the company. So they kind of just exploded with a not great business model, and now that business is restoring to kind of normalcy, it doesn't work out for them. So they're bringing in a new CEO who's been around the block with a few different companies. So I do think they have the potential to restructure and be a successful company, but not without change.
Exactly. You know, I don't know, man. People that bought that, they got what they're gonna get. I don't know how else to say it. Like, probably. Hey, I'm sure
I
some
feel like
people.
the people who bought that don't care.
I mean, honestly, like exercise equipment. Like, this is what I always tell people if they want to buy one. Just go on Craigslist, like in March. Anytime after the beginning of the new year, because I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, there's a reason their whole model is to sell things that people aren't going to use. Like a small but significant portion of people. Like, I'm telling you,
it's a little bit different. Because,
is it?
Well, no, I'm saying it's a little bit different, their business model, because they're not just selling exercise equipment. They're
the
selling subscriptions. So they actually do want you to use it.
That's even worse, man.
They make money if you use it, so.
Well, they make money even if you don't use it, right? Because you forget to cancel the subscription and auto.
But they make more money, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, good luck to them, I guess. I don't really follow that market, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I hope they don't go under, because that's a lot of jobs. At least
like, they're a household name. Everyone kind of knows them. They don't know them in detail, but everyone would be like, oh yeah, Peloton, right? But considering that, they're still a relatively small company with room to grow.
Exactly. For sure. I'm gonna look at chat real quick, then we'll move on to the next subject if you don't have anything else.
Yeah, let's keep going.
All right, so fixation 500. They're talking about the tonal gym and all that stuff. But I remember those infomercials from back in the day. Those are great. They're always funny.
What was the one with Total Gym? Total Gym.
Yeah, Total Gym.
And the Bowflex. And
the Bowflex. Yeah, I mean those were probably
Chuck
cheaper.
Norris.
Chuck Norris was like those exercise videos. Like, wow, I could be like that. I just have to buy this thing and keep it in my living room.
Yep.
I mean, they weren't very light either. I know they folded up and stuff, but they're also kind of heavy. The Fixation 500 says 6 months of food. What do you eat? Okay, well, I'm just saying, like, it could potentially be a lot of food, is what I mean. Not exactly 6 months. Probably from me, that'd probably be about. Yeah, I'd say about 4 months of food, 3 to 4 months of food. About my rate of how much I spend on food. Not lately though, because I've been eating out a lot. CCP Tech says, good idea on buying used. It is a quality product. It's totally worth the savings. Yeah, I mean, there's always exercise equipment flooding Craigslist in like March every year. So
yeah,
that's if I ever wanted a treadmill or something, that's all I got to do. It's no need to pay brand new prices for all the New Year's resolutions people that are going to fail, I'm not trying to like diss them or anything. I'm just saying this is just the way it works.
Yeah, especially when it comes to well, it really kind of applies to anything. If it's a quality product, there's nothing wrong with buying it used.